Sarika, Namaskar. Hello everyone, welcome you all to Latex Industry Tech Talk. As you know, this is a Technobiz virtual event series with a focus on the developments and related to the latex industry and the technology. And today's episode is focusing on a very interesting issue. Actually, we're having a conversation on the latex industry, latex glove industry in India and what's happening, current trends. Our invited guest is Mr. Jose Paul Millet, and he's been in the latex glove industry for very, very long. And so we'll be having conversation with him to discuss about what is going on for the latex glove industry. Before I let him join us for the conversation, let me quickly introduce to you about the Technobiz. I think some of you know already what is Technobiz all about, but let quickly talk about it for the sake of everybody to understand who we are, why we do what we do. Technobiz is based in Thailand, established in 2005, and it is recognized as an international resource center for the polymer industries and also the process technologies. And we focus mainly on the polymer industry, on the rubber, plastics, polyurethane, adhesives and coatings. We also focus on energy, environment, membranes and filtration, recovery, recycling and recovery, smart manufacturing, etc. Our emphasis always service-wise emphasis a lot on the professional education, which we believe that education solves a number of issues. So we have lots of master classes, online training courses, executive diploma, assessment test, and we also have the publications and the digital library as well. When it comes to the business services, we host a number of exhibitions and conferences, virtual events like today, and we also have webinars. We host on the road shows and the networking events, technical and business consulting, factory and process audits, and also one of the key things that we offer is the marketing and branding services. So this overview about what is all about Technobiz, and you can always check our website at technobiz.org for more information on it. Just more review in terms of rubber, latex, entire expos. We have an exhibition called GRTE, focused on the global rubber latex entire expo. We have a Middle East rubber expo also. We have also Africa rubber entire expo as well as exhibitions. Conferences, we have very focused conferences. Now we offer the digital marketing, executive diploma, training, virtual events. Again, as I mentioned briefly in the beginning, we do this one for the only rubber industry. We also do for other plastics and polyurethane as well. We have our flagship event called Latex Conference. We just finished in Thailand in January in Pattani, by cooperating with the Prince of Sangkla University, Pattani, just a month ago. And our next Latex Conference we're hosting in Bangkok and in the 4th to 5th February 2026. And it has a conference, some training sessions, and also research area as well. A number of activities. Focus on everything about latex science, technology, processing, and markets. So that's all about this latex conference. We do have a 4-day masterclass, online masterclass focusing on the latex technology. It covers A to Z about the latex technology. It's with 13 modules with various basics and also advanced information on the latex technology. You can check more details at the training.technobiz.org. Latex Tech Industry Tech Talk. This is a virtual event we organize on a regular basis. In this program, we have technical research presentations and new products and technology introductions also there. Like today, we have a business and leadership conversations. Sometimes we have on the latex doctor Q&A sessions only as well. So this is how this the Latex Industry Tech Talk is designed, and I'm thank you all for joining this session today. As you know, you guys have been joining on a regular basis to learn about developments in the latex industry. We have a latex industry digital library. Basically, it's a knowledge bank for the latex industry. So what are the activities we record, and we have make it available on our platform at the Technobiz channel. If you wanted to access our library, you can become on our member on Technobiz channel YouTube channel. You have to become a premium gold member to access it, and this is a link as shown on the screen. youtube.com/technobiz2005/join. So it's very useful, and we keep adding more topics and useful subjects for the benefit of the latex industry. You can see, so these are some of the people that who contributed various talks and conversation with us. Currently, we are working on the latex handbook. Basically, that trying to be a good reference for the reference book for the latex industry on an annual basis. It will be released in June. It will have both technical articles, market articles, and some new products and technologies, and also the um, uh, market information and commercial company profiles as well. So you can check, you can pre-order now at the store.technobiz.org. So we offer the digital marketing solutions for the latex technology and products. So if you want to promote your business through our Technobiz platforms, you can use our Latex Industry Connect program as well. This is me, and you think most of you have my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you need more information or assistance from Technobiz. You can reach me by WhatsApp or by email as appropriate for you. Okay, so let's all welcome you all to the Latex Industry Tech Talk, and today's episode is very interesting. I'm really excited to host this session today on the conversation on latex glove industry in India, current trends. As I mentioned to you, that Mr. Jose Paul Mellet is Managing Director of the Pirociter Technologies based in India. He has extensive experience in latex glove industry in India. He's an innovator, he's a trainer, he's author. I can say he's a mini encyclopedia for the latex glove industry. So let's have him on board and talk with him about various issues. I request all the members of the audience today, if you want to ask any questions to Jose, please post the questions. I will include those questions in my conversation as well. I have a lot of topics to talk to him today. At the same time, I also want you to join me to ask as many questions as possible, as many points that you think you like to know from Jose. Jose, welcome to this session today. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you, Karan, for the fine introduction, and good day to all of you.
So yeah, Jose, it's a pleasure mention. It's a pleasure to have you as a part of this Latex Industry Tech Talk. Today, I'm going to dwell into your brain a little bit and try to understand as much as possible what's going on in India, what's going on in the latex glove industry, maybe some insights about industry challenges and opportunities, and what kind of things the industry should look forward in the future as well. So that's how I want to touch it. Yeah. So let's get to the point and let's get started first. Maybe for the benefit of everybody to understand, can you talk about briefly about your professional journey for last 35 years? Yeah, you don't look that old, but you look very, you're very experienced, man. Okay, cool. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm always young at heart, in fact. So I started off a career. I did my bachelor's in rubber technology and polymer science from Cochin University. And then I went on to, as every rubber technologist does, went on to be in the tire industry. I was in the JK Tires. I was in JK Tires for about 3 years, and then three and a half years. And after that, I came down to the southern part of India to join the A.V. Thomas group of companies as a rubber technologist there. And that started off my journey in the latex industry. That was way back in the early 1990s, just after the AIDS scare. So it was a situation similar to our situation right now, the COVID situation. There was a huge demand for gloves, and the demand just came down, and then all the companies were in trouble. So I was in A.V. Thomas group of companies for about 7-8 years. I was heading the technology and development department there, and then after that. I happened to come in contact with Mr. Pereira, who is the managing director of Primus Gloves. So I joined Primus Gloves with him. We had a team of people there. And it was very interesting to be there. We started the plant. Um, we went in for a different size of products, like from examination, we moved on to surgical. From surgical, we moved on to the pharmaceutical gloves. And lately, we were the market leaders in the pharma gloves in India. And then we were, actually acquired by our brand, and our life sciences market was acquired by Ansell in 2021. So that was a great moment for us, because what we have done, we have developed, has gone into an MNC's hand. During this course, we had a lot of, a lot of challenges, of course, a lot of challenges because of the market situation. Because as you know, manufacturing examination is not viable in the Indian situation because of economies of scale. So we had to move on to surgical. So we had to learn a lot from this. From there, then even surgical became a little, of very thin margins. So then we had to move on a little more margin thing. Kind. We moved on to, pharmaceutical gloves, the longer gloves. The advantage was that, right from the beginning, our MD had a vision of going in for something new. So therefore, the plant that he had already installed at that time was capable of running a longer length glove. So that was a major advantage that we had. So we came out with a 16-inch, 18-inch, up to the 18-inch glove. So then we went into the pharmaceutical market. At that time, the pharmaceutical markets also were under tremendous quality pressure from the FDA. So they wanted to have even gloves that is actually approved by FDA. So we had an edge over there. So we went to the market and we were successful, and we learned a lot, because the medical market and the pharma market are different. So you have to actually place your market, target your market in a different way. I mean, so for the last 10 years we were the market leaders, and then Ansell found us to be a very good buy, so they bought over. And in 2023, last May, I retired from Primus as director. I was in charge of technical QA, regulatory, and R&D, of course. So we had also started up an R&D department, which is recognized by the government during the COVID period. So we made a lot of products for COVID management also, including the isolated gloves that used in the pharmaceutical. Then we had a lot of gloves and a lot of shields, face shields, and all that made for the COVID management. So after retirement, I started up my own company. I'm now running my company called Parasitar Technologies. I basically focus on the innovative and sustainable products in rubber. So I'm presently working with graphene, with lignin, and other things. My interest is basically into now circular economy, biomimicry, and then anything that is related to sustainability. So that's why next month I'm also going for a training program in Japan on circular economy, transforming to circular economy business model. So I think that would expose me more into this, which is a passion for me. So I'd like to continue that in future. So that is in brief what I am.
Super, super. So you put all your journey as mainly in the Primus gloves, yeah? So in terms of glove, yeah. So
since, yeah.
Okay. I know I like to touch again the Primus gloves later. You have a patent on your belt, right? So can you talk about your patent? What's going on that?
Yeah, basically the patent was on a manufacture of powder treat gloves, right? Back in I think 2005 or so, when nothing much was heard of the polymer coated gloves at that time. So we devised a system for manufacture of that basic system. The idea behind that was two. It's not just to to restrain anybody from manufacturing, because now everybody was manufacturing. We didn't have it. The other thing was to go into the process of actually patenting. Thrill of actually patenting the process. So we learned a lot from that. So that is one of the points. But then also we had to show enough technical prowess over the others. That we do a lot of even though we didn't have an established R&D at that time, our lab was as good as an R&D that we're doing right now. So we want to express that. So that is what we have done. And I think that's around 20 years. So I think next year it expires, 2025. But now the technology has changed. Now a lot of technology, a lot of new technology has come in. So this is very old patent, you can say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I really appreciate that your contribution by publishing a book on the latex gloves. Yeah, can you talk about it? I think it is available now, like on the Amazon, or also can anybody interested that the book, maybe
Yeah,
they can contact you as well. Yeah.
yeah, it is published by a German firm, German publisher, and they have actually put it up on Amazon, on ebooks, and all those sites. But I've also put it on the net, so somebody who wants to have a look at it can have it. It was basically, I started off as a basically training manual for our own, staff, and then when I thought when it will be training manual for our staff, there is a lot of people who want to understand the intricacies of that. So, and the highlight is that, at the end there is 101 questions about,
Yes.
manufacturing. So that is something that is appreciated by people, because if you have anything, just go there, you have the answer. So something like that. Probably now we could add 1,000 more, because a lot of problems, a lot of questions are there. Probably, we have not gone in from second edition, probably a revised edition probably can include all that and all the new technologies, because the polymer coating has come, the online chlorination has come, so much of thing has changed. So it's basically that. So I just give it off to anybody who likes to read anything about it, because I believe in sharing knowledge, because there's no point in just having knowledge and sitting at it. So you have to share it, discuss it, to network it. Only then you grow and others grow. So that's what my whole philosophy is about.
Fantastic, fantastic. Guys, you listen to this statement, right? If you want his book, I have his book. I think it's really nicely done, and I really like that Q&As for frequently asked questions, right? That's very nicely done. And if you like to have that copy of that book, it is available from Joe. So please send an email to him, or reach out to me. I can forward your request to him as well. Yeah. So Joe, thanks for that support on that matter. For the, it's good for the industry, and that's right. And maybe I also ask you, Joe, you write a book so that you could contribute something for my latex handbook as well. Okay.
Okay.
Why not? Why not? Yes, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the India, right? Before you go to India, what is your opinion about the global latex glove market first? How is the situation of the latex glove market around the world right now?
Okay. What I see right now is something. When I came down into this market in 1990s, we had a situation, a similar situation at that time, because it's the same thing that is repeating now. Probably there's a 30-year cycle or something that we say it's going on. But right now, after the COVID, when during the COVID, there was a lot of demand for gloves, and a lot of bad name for gloves and assets. But after that, a lot of companies have expanded. A lot of the companies have gone into expansion. A lot of new companies have come in, and just because of that, it's very saturated. Not only that, the manufacturing started off in the US. There are about 10, 12 companies in the US. All of them are not manufacturing right now, but still they have actually put up their plants. In the Europe, they have plants in France, in Europe, in Germany, in Hungary, and all those places. So everywhere now, after this COVID, they've gone into localization of the global market. So even though gloves used to be supplied from Southeast Asia and these countries, now it's becoming, like it's becoming localized. And all the countries would like to put their own PPE manufacturing, especially gloves. So that's the situation, basic situation that has changed right now. But currently, if you look at it, most of the companies are running at far very below the capacity, like around 30% capacity, 40% capacity, probably because they've got enough stocks. Even the users and the customers also have their stocks that have to be depleted. And what I hear from the industry is that probably it'll take another year, probably by December, it might all come down, and by 2025, hopefully, it will be a buoyant situation. This time will pass, and but I think this is good for some people. At least now it's a time for us to introspect on what has gone wrong or what bad decisions we made. It's not that it's bad. No, it happens in a business cycle. Every cycle happens this thing. So we have to take actions to see what to do. Probably expanding so much was not the right thing to do, or probably Yeah, because everyone knew that there's going to be a vaccine that's coming in, and we only last for 1.5 years. But still, when the lead time for putting a plant was itself around 2 years or so, why I don't know when most people went to this. But now having done that, probably it's the time to introspect. I think bigger companies, what they're doing is that they are actually discarding the older lines, like scrapping the older lines, and then reinventing themselves with new technology, with high expense. Of course, that's the thing that has to be done. We have to re-equip ourselves with new technology. The world is moving; we have to move according to that. So I think even though it's a real bad phase for them right now, probably next year, I think if something is going to happen, I mean, good is going to happen. I feel so.
And how about India? I mean, how many glove factories there are in India right now? Yeah. Are
Okay.
there big? Are many big players or small players? Can you give us some structure about the glove industry, latex glove industry in India?
General glove industry in India, as such, is a very unorganized sector. Like it was, till 2022 October, you can say it was just a rubber product. It's just a rubber product, a glove. That's it. It was not a medical device. Unlike it being a medical device in all the other parts of the world, so it is still a rubber product. After 22, it became a medical device. So now a lot of controls are coming. Um, uh, so therefore, since it's not very organized, yeah, during the COVID, we remember we were trying hard to find out how many manufacturers there. There were so many manufacturers which nobody knew. There were some manufacturers which everybody knew, 5 or 6 manufacturers, everybody knew, but there were not many. So if you look at the website of your ministry, they list around 35 the manufacturers. But if you look at it closely, we see that most of them, some of them, at least three of when 5 or 6 or 10 of them, in fact, could be just distributors. They don't manufacture. So a few months back, we did a recalculation of everything after the COVID and all that. New companies are coming. So roughly, I think it's around 44 to 45 companies there as registered manufacturers of gloves. The companies that are working is far too less because of the structure. Like you can have 10 or 15 actually working, and that too, we can say 5 or 6 that are actually working full time. Others are, depending on the order. They get an order, they start, they stop, they start, they stop. Some companies just start, some companies are up for sale. So it's all because, many people who had the capital went into the glove manufacture without knowing the market. The only thing that we knew is the price of the glove at the COVID time. So all the project reports were based on that, and the banks were really happy to give them loans. And being a COVID product, they were all very happy to give loans at very low interest rates. But now repayment is a problem. Most of the banks say that they don't get repayment from the glove industry, and additional loans are not being sanctioned for any glove industry right now. So the situation is pretty bad. Situation is pretty bad because the like and now we have a rubber manufacturer, rubber glove, Indian Rubber Glove Manufacturer Association, a unit that's trying to do something about it. Like we have our own challenges, internal as well as external. External is basically imports from Malaysia and Thailand, dumping and all that. Internal is you have to build up our own capacity of making good gloves. You have certifications, and certification is a very costly affair right now. Okay, and it's very difficult to export because of the CE marking and all that, because it's very costly, right? So these are the challenges right now we have for the industry, and as such, it's become a little better after the upmake in medical device, because at least people are discussing on this, and we have some, from probably within a couple of years we'll have some structure on this, but it's still bad. It's still not a good industry to be in right now.
So, but can you talk, I mean, about the demand and supply? And you still import a lot to India, is it right? From you just saying that from Thailand or Malaysia. So, yeah. So there's
Yeah.
a capacity, production capacity is not sufficient enough for the Indian market, for the domestic market, domestic manufacturing. Or the
Uh,
price, maybe what are reasons people still import from other countries?
okay, the real reason is pricing because in India, the glove is a very price sensitive thing. So the quality takes a second time because if you look at it, the users, the users are the hospitals, and they are not the actual users. The actual users are the doctors or the patients. Okay, they have no say in this, so they go by the price. So the cheapest one gets the market. So how to make it cheap? That is what we are. The thing is that we can import gloves from Asian countries duty free. So if, especially for examination gloves, if you look at the economies of scale, you can't compete with Thailand, Malaysia, or Vietnam because it's so huge. And the rate of production, the latest indication by the glove manufacturing association says that it's around 30% lower. Uh, 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 Cost of production is around 30% lower than other countries. And then they can import into India without duty.
Yeah.
Okay, so it becomes cheaper here. Our domestic manufacturing is much more costly than that.
Oh,
So when it comes to the pricing part of it, you can't. So it's because the latex cost, the raw material cost is costlier here. And if you want to import raw material, which if the international price is lower, you can import. But if you import, it's around 77% tax you have to give. So, absolutely no chance of importing the raw material, cheaper raw material, and making a cheaper glove here. So you have to make the glove here with the local latex, and then you won't be competitive. And then even if you say that the imports are substandard, I mean, if at all you say that, there's nobody to check, and there's no control over it. So the manufacturing is actually putting up a lot of pressure on the government to actually stop the imports. And you can actually, I don't think you'll be able to stop the imports. You can actually put some kind of a barrier by introducing some standards like, like going into a compulsory, Bureau of International, I mean, BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards. They've got an ISA mark. So you can go in for that, which is not mandatory right now. It's a voluntary thing right now. So they can be mandated to have certification, and then it will be difficult for the importers to get that from the thing and all that. So this could be a temporary issue, but the government has to go into this into detail, or else the domestic industry is not going to survive. So that's the kind of situation. It's not about the capacity. It's not about that we don't be able. We have the capacity, we have the capability, we have the competence to manufacture that. The thing is that it's cheaper by getting it from outside. So why should a hospital or why should a distributor actually rely on the local manufacturer because they're getting it cheaper from that side? So this is a problem that I think the government has seriously included. The regulator that is to yeah.
but if you look at Malaysia, they moved totally into, I think not totally, but mainly towards nitrile latex gloves, yeah. And what's happening in India in terms of the, you still talk about natural latex versus synthetic latex. How much change, how much transition is happening in terms of the moving towards synthetic latex because you produce cheaper and more quality with standardized quality. There are other issues people talk about. There's still people talk about allergy issues as well, right? It's been the generation people still talk about it. So how is the situation about this with respect to synthetic latex gloves?
Okay. If you look at the Indian market, we were always into latex. But after COVID, when and the WHO said that we need to have nitrile gloves. Only if you don't have nitrile, you go into latex gloves. Even though we tried to dispute it in not many ways because it was not available at that time. Like nobody was manufacturing nitrile at that time. We had the capability, but we couldn't do that because we had to import latex from outside. We have a latex manufacturer right now here, a nitrile latex one. But at that time, we had to import. So we never wanted to have it. But after COVID, all the plants that is coming, all the examination glove plants that is coming, they are into nitrite. And another one company last month, I think last month or before last, I think they touched 1 million a day. So it's a huge production, a huge plant that's coming. So it is slowly moving it, and that is actually put up by the biggest, you know, the hospital chain in India. So therefore, when they have their own gloves, they'll be using their own gloves naturally. So nitrate gloves is into the market right now. So it's slowly replacing the latex ones. The the case about allergy and all that is disputable right now, because at 90s, okay, it was true in the 90s, but now we have enough and more technologies to make low allergen products, fluorination, nothing is there. So that is all just a hyped up thing. So that's all not there, and especially in the Indian population, we don't have much of a problem with it. Only certain 50 people who are really allergic to that. Otherwise, it's okay. But so that's what I find. The nitrile is slowly replacing latex, and even our manufacturers also are now claiming that nitrile is far better than latex. Probably they haven't seen the nitrile earlier years, but now due to the business pressures and all that, they are actually pushing nitrile into the market, and the pricing is also very cheap right now. So there's no cost of managing that.
But how can you are from the uh, Kerala, right? You're based out of Kerala, are you? Yeah.
Okay.
And you latex producing state, and
Yeah.
if every glove manufacturer move into the nitrile latex, how to sustain the natural latex glove industry? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is being, in all talks and all of the wherever I go, you talk
Yeah,
about all to have, see, what is wrong with latex glove? That's what I ask them. What is wrong with the latex glove? Don't talk about allergies. It's not the problem. The problem is just that now it's a business pressure. Everyone wants to have a nitrile one, so we also do the nitrile. Yours want the nitrile glove, so you give a nitrile glove.
can you hear me? Okay, guys, please stay on. I lost his connection. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I can't hear you now. Can you hear me now? Guys, you guys can hear me? Anybody can respond to me if you can hear my voice. Okay, thanks. They can hear me, but anybody can hear Joe's voice? No. Okay. There's some issue, man. Please stand by, guys. Please stand by. Just can you log in again, log off and log in again? Hey guys, please stand by. Please stand by. There's some interruption with the internet for him. Now, in the meantime, please post any questions you have. If you want me to ask him, feel free to post the questions. Okay, I think now is all right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay,
You?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
now is all right.
Something wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So where are we now?
uh, we were discussing on why nitrile is taking over Latex.
Right. Okay. Um, so there is actually, I want to maybe ask audience questions here, okay, so that you maybe address it because they're asking similar issues right now. If examination gloves produced in India are used by Indian customers, why there is a need to make a nitrile gloves, given that no allergy issues among Indians using NR gloves?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's just the market demand kind of thing because once when the WHO came in during COVID, when the WHO came in with nitrile gloves, the government actually every meeting of the government was actually insisting of why can't we make nitrile gloves? Why can't we make nitrile gloves? So we will be so we have been telling that no, it's not nitrile, it's latex that can be used. And in one of the documents, I also showed them that they had written that if nitrile is not available, then you can latex. So we told them, see, this is something what the WHO has given. It's not given for a particular country. It's given globally. And since in India we don't have nitrile, why didn't we go in for the latex? But then they asked me, how long will it take to make a nitrile glove? And said it doesn't happen that that way. You need to get latex. So this is the kind of pressure they had. So you're listening to all this. The new manufacturers thought this is the best thing to do because they thought that this is going to be the trend. So now they started putting up plants for nitrile loan. And all the new plants that have come in, it's basically all nitrile based. So now there's a lot of nitrile in the market, nitrile gloves in the market.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Go on. Yeah.
And as I said, like the biggest hospital chain has a plan of their own. So they'll all be using nitrile. So slowly, it becomes a trend. Like now, things start changing, and not only that, the nitrile glove as such is now looks almost similar to the latex glove itself. So it has improved such a. I mean, from the early 90s when you used to have nitrile glove, when we started our trial with nitrile, it was basically a plastic kind of glove. Now it was you never wanted to wear it, but now it's different. It's soft. It's different. It's light. It's cheap. So all these advantages are there. So slowly pushing up. It's just the business kind of thing. It's not because of your preference or or you want to have latex or anything, thinking about the farmers or anything. It's nothing that. Just your market presence and business. Yes, that's it.
And you said that in India, getting in India is a duty free to import the gloves, right? How about the
Yeah.
latex? We do have. I mean, in India we have a nitrile latex manufacturers. Is anybody import as well nitrile latex into the country? And what are the duties there?
Yes, yes, yes. The nitrile latex, yeah, latex is being imported. Nitrile latex as well as natural. It's around, I think, for the natural latex, I think, what I understand is around 77% tax certificate, 70% your basic customs duty plus something, it comes around 7%. That's what the organization says. The association says. We have one manufacturer of in a nitrile latex, but they don't have capacities as such, I think. And you have latex coming in from Kumo, and from Synthomer is pretty costly, so it's not getting from Synthomer. Most of them are getting from either Kumo or LG or other companies, and a little bit from our local Arcotex.
Okay. I see. Okay. And there is a question they're asking is that do they have any quality check guidelines for imported gloves into India now?
Okay, after the medical devices act came in, after it became a medical device, we need to register the suppliers. Like, if it's a class, they are divided into 4 different classes: A, B, C, and D, as we have in all other countries. A and B is relevant to India. I mean, to the gloves. A is the non-sterile one. Randomly, it's the non-sterile one, the low risk one, and B is the sterile one. Okay. So generally, it's the non-sterile that we import, and we don't actually we import, I think, sterile products from any of these countries because we have the sterilization and the packaging facility there. So generally, what we do is that we import the non-sterile one. For that, now it's just a registration that's required. In register the company because just to, and they're just building up a database of the suppliers. That's it. Probably it could even go into registration part that is required. I mean, licensing part that's required for the B grade, I mean B class B. They might, but I'm not very sure on this because it's a very low value thing. But now what the association is requesting the government is that to put up a standard, compulsory, mandatory BAS certification. So that's the concept we have. So we have a certification here called ISA marks. So that is actually given to the Bureau of Indian Standards. So ISA mark is basically a voluntary standard. The BAS gives only a voluntary standard. Suppose it's a particular ministry, the relevant ministry says that this has to have compulsorily ISA mark, then they release a quality control order called a QCO. So once the QCO is released, then that product in that particular under that particular ministry has to have his ISO mark. So what the association is asking the government is to issue a QCO saying that this has to be mandatory. When this is mandatory for the Indian manufacturers, it naturally becomes mandatory for the imported ones also, because they have to be in par with the local market. So it is not a big thing to get an ISM mark for a foreign manufacturer. Only thing takes a little bit of documentation. Probably there's an audit from our party here, from the agency. It might take some time. It's just you can just delay this thing. Initial imports can be delayed for some time, but then this quality control also. What I feel is that we will all be giving 3 months or 6 months lead time to actually conduct. So by that time, probably they would also get it. But the most important thing, what I feel is that, it's my personal feel is that what we have now is no control over the quality in the hospital. Why are we making these gloves? These gloves are being made for the end user. Nobody actually thinks of the end user. The healthcare worker, the patient who is using it, he has to get a good glove. Whatever be the cost, he has to get a good glove. But who's actually checking it? Our regulatory agencies don't have the capacity. They don't actually check the glove in that end. They tell you that no, you have to abide by the standards, you have to comply with the standards and everything. If you don't comply, what happens? Nothing happens. And that is where the whole problem is. Suppose if you have an issue, and the hospitals also don't care, because for them, they are not the users, in fact. They just take the glove from local manufacturer, and jack up the price 4 times and sell it off the counter because it's a cash down thing, and they get all the money. And why should they be bothered by the quality of the glove? And the patients and the doctors or nurse who doesn't have the voice to actually raise a complaint. They don't do that. We don't have our class action lawsuits or something like that which happens in the West and all that. So the consumer is not that strong. So therefore, with all these things into consideration, the only thing that actually concerns me is the price of the glove. So if you get a cheaper glove at whatever quality it is, people are there to buy it. So your intention is to make the cheapest glove. So that even corrupts our local manufacturers also. Because for them, whatever they do, they get a good certification to audit them, or a local one, or if they get a good product, or if they cut short their process. Don't, I mean, if they cut short their leaching so that they can save a lot of water. Whatever they do, only thing that goes is cheapness. So that is the major problem. So what I personally feel is that our regulatory agencies have to have a system in place so that the actual user patient safety is the basic concern. That has to be, and if that is done, automatically everything will fall in place. Automatically everything will fall in place. But that is not happening.
So the Indian government has to work on the proper regulatory system, particularly bad quality and good quality gloves. There is a question from a participant who is asking about the chloroprene rubber latex gloves in India.
Okay.
Do you think there is a market for chloroprene rubber latex gloves in India?
As of now, I think there's not many who have actually heard of chloroprene or neoprene gloves as such here in India. We are still with latex or nitrile. The only thing, as I said earlier, it depends on the costing and the pricing of it. Nobody actually looks at the of course, if there is some added advantage for one certain niche market, probably for a chemical resins kind of thing, or something like that, probably there's some use. But otherwise, there is it not be a market because the situation I told you before, if it's 1% costlier, it won't work. That's the thing.
Okay, there is another question. This is because this person is asking with the pro synthetic latex, I would say. Okay. Advantage of NBR and CR latex over NR latex in glove manufacturing. What kind of setup changes required while using NBR and CR latex in the place of NR latex?
Okay, CR latex, I'm not very familiar with that because I have not run that. Only we have run some trials in the lab where we find that it's a little sticky, the curing, the thing has to be different. The ultimate glove has to be, changes color after some time, all those things. But on the line, we have to do, it'll be different. So since I have no experience with that, I won't be the right person to actually comment on that. Whereas the nitrile and latex is concerned, we have been running that for a long time. There's not much of a difference that has to be done. Not only thing what we do for the nitrile is that we do everything very slowly, everything in gravity, so that you don't have any bubbles in the thing. It's a very soft process that we do. The temperatures are a little lower for the nitrile ones. Okay, so these are the things. Otherwise, the dipping and everything. There are certain companies, even we do have a double dipping line for the nitriles, but there's not much of an advantage I've seen with a double dip one. Only thing is that what we have found is that our energy consumption really goes up when you have two dip times. So you have to have your total solids lower in both, and then lower total solids means you have higher water. Higher water means you have to evaporate that water and you have to have more energy. So the concept of one hole being like the second layer actually camouflaging the other holes and then getting a lower hole one. It doesn't work with most of the companies because most of the companies have actually gone back to the single dip system. So otherwise, I don't think there's any major difference between a nitrile and a latex. Most of the companies there have straight away gone in for nitrile from latex. The old companies, even we did the same. We were running nitrile early, latex earlier. We just converted the line to nitriles. We also put up a double line thinking that it will be of some help, but there was not much of help in that. Otherwise, I don't think there's any problem in that. But every line is different, as I said, every line is different. So you have to be on the line, and you have to have, you know, like be on the line and then correct the problems right on the line to get a good class. That's the only mantra.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's another point you were asking is that do India government accept ASTM and EN standards used on nitrate gloves? Can they accept if gloves comply to ASTM and EN standards?
Yeah, I think the standards say, I think for the orders and all, I mean, for the uh, tenders and all, they ask for international standards. So either ASTM or EN could be okay. So since the BIS is not mandatory as of now, I don't think they insist that. But it depends on from tender to tender. But generally, an international standard will be there. Because most of the companies there, most of the companies actually make their product as per ASTM or EN. And then if you look at BIS, the ISO standard, it's just a copy of the ASTM standard. So there's nothing much, you change the units or change a little bit here and there. That's the only difference, especially for the sterile one. So meeting ASTM standards will be more than enough. Yeah.
There is another interesting point. If importing examination NBR gloves from Malaysia and Thailand 30% cheaper versus locally made gloves, how about surgical gloves scenario? Maybe India should focus on making surgical gloves as Malaysia and Thailand don't make big volumes of the type of gloves. Do surgical gloves have higher margins in India versus examination gloves?
Yeah, our advantage as of now was surgical gloves. Like now, I said we started off with examination and we couldn't compete because of the volumes of scale, economics of scale. So then we moved on to surgical ones. I think we had a very good standing for surgical gloves. We used to manufacture surgical gloves. We exported a lot of surgical gloves, and India was known for surgical examination. Nobody used to come to us because they know it will be cheaper from Malaysia, Thailand, or Vietnam. So surgical is a good thing. But now, I think the plants there also have converted to surgical. We are importing a lot of surgicals also, surgical gloves also. Margins are better, but just the other week I came to know that it is now selling at such a low price that nobody here is gone the examination glove way. Even surgical are finding it, the surgical manufacturers finding it very difficult because the surgical gloves that is coming in from Malaysia that's been imported are cheaper. Of course, the quality is a questionable one. We don't know. I don't want to comment on that. But as I said, it's just the price that goes. So as long as we have got a five-finger thing with no visible holes or probably no tear, then nobody cares. But that's the kind of situation. That has to change. That has to change. Only if that changes, then you get a good. Yeah.
There is another same person is asking do India export surgical and examination NBR NR gloves? Is all the volume of gloves produced in India used by locally? Is this the case? Could it be this create a less consciousness on the quality aspect? So do India export gloves?
Yeah. We have many gloves units based in the special economic zones. Like one of the special economic zones where we were working, the Cochin special economic zone was actually put up for exports. We had about 8 or 9 companies at that time. 90s, the early 90s, when the AIDS scare was there. There were not many companies, and that particular zone was really put up for the glove manufacturer. And being in Kerala, the source of rubber, we had the same. So a lot of companies there actually still export, and they are exporting. Like basically surgical gloves, examination gloves. We don't have to stay on this mostly, but surgical. But then examination little bit comes in because when you have a big order of surgical and they ask for even towards a little, expensive, they get it from them. So they have not gone in for actual examination glove manufacturing. Only when the requirement they for government exam and then export. But we have exporters, very good exporters. Even we were based in the export posing zone, and we had a lot of presence in the US, and in Europe. And the biggest company like Canon Latex, they export a lot to not many countries. Not many countries. They're one of the biggest exporters. So they've got a lot of lines also they have. They've got the biggest lines there, and they are also expanding. So it all depends on the way you look at the market. It's a global market. If you feel that, and I personally feel that no, it's not because there's not opportunity, because the way you look at it. If you think that you're a medical glove manufacturer rather than hand protection glove manufacturer, probably if you move into different areas, probably you can give protection. Otherwise, you'll be fighting in the same market. There's a red ocean there. Not many people in the same market fighting, and nobody wins. So I think it's time for all of the industries, the entrepreneurs, and the technologists to think differently and get into different markets.
Yeah, yeah. How about any association in India for the gloves manufacturers? Just Malaysia has a strong association, and there's also they are big lobbyists with the government as well as exports wise. Even Thailand has, Indonesia has. So does India has any association just focus on the gloves? Yeah.
After COVID and after all these problems came up, earlier we didn't have any organization at all. That's why we were so unorganized. Nobody knew who were the manufacturers. We knew some people who knew. We used to talk all the others, but no, we never knew that there are other companies. But now with the association coming in, I think fairly there's a representation there because of the problem. We have a crisis right now because all the companies are doing badly. So now we have an association, and they have actually taken up all these points. Actually, they were all in all these points on imports, cost of production, on dumping of gloves and everything. It's all been taken up as association to the ministry, and ministry has actually taken note of that, and they have asked all the manufacturers to comment on exactly what is the problem. So actually they are going to look into it. And just because there is just 1.5 years into this medical devices thing, government also will take some time to actually get into things. Probably, I think within a couple of years, everything will be straightened out. Yeah.
Okay, let's we talk so much about the medical application issues. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into the industrial applications, whereas industrial gloves. How is the market for is it
Yeah.
growing market? And I think because that's also an important market for the latex guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that the industrial market, the unlined market, there are two different markets: the unlined ones and the lined ones, the fabric coated ones. The fabric coated ones, I think, it's expanding a lot because a lot many companies are coming in. India is booming, economically. All the foreign companies are coming in. A lot of multinationals are coming in. Like Boeing has put up a huge plant here, and then the chip manufacturing is coming in. So all these people, that's what I said. Like instead of getting into a medical market, if you think that it's for the hand protection, then you've got a different market offering, like the electronic markets. There, you get the nitrile anti-static gloves is a lot. So that market is actually booming, and everyone, like the people who are actually in this business right now, they're trying to expand. They used to, import from China and South Korea, all these lined ones, but now they're trying to put up their own plants. So they're looking out for technology for these plants, looking for JVs for these plants, so that now they can expand because by next couple of years, all these plants will be up and running, and then they need gloves. So this industrial sector is actually booming. That is where we have thing, and you don't have all these controls there. It's much easier for that. And there are certain companies who are also going into sustainable products, like like polyurethane coated ones. They're going in solvent. They're going to water-based ones. So such things are actually happening. That means, I mean, the basic interest of that, we see that interest in the industry. That means they feel that this is going to go up. The market is going to go up. So we have tremendous potential here. And like from Sri Lanka, now we import a lot of like line gloves, supported gloves. A lot of gloves are being imported from and basically from Sri Lanka.
Yeah. They're also leaders on that
Yeah.
industrial application. Yes.
Yeah. They're leaders in that. Yeah.
So, you're also focusing on the circular economy now because that is one of
Yeah.
the area that you self-interest. I think the latex guys also produce a latex glow waste. Yeah. So, how do you see what opportunities are there in managing the, latex glow waste? And what's happening in India in terms of the glow waste? How do they manage it now currently?
Okay, glove waste, as of now, you can say that there are two kinds of waste. Like one waste is from the factory where it
Yeah.
is contaminated, it's just the rejections that you get. Those things, what we generally used to do is that, somebody used to come and then take it off to make a reclaim. They use it in slippers, something like that. But there is also some companies which are actually reclaiming it in a better way. Actually, there's one company called Reborn in
Mhm.
company who actually does this, like, they say that they can give around 60%, you can blend 60% all that. But, it has to be used in the dry rubber industry. That's it, latex can't do. Whereas the medical waste, which comes from the medical side, medical waste, it's a real problem, in fact, because a lot of gloves coming in, and after the COVID, a lot of gloves like nitrile and this thing used to get mixed up. They had to segregate it in their own plant. So they have in in Kerala, we have got a centralized medical treatment, and a waste treatment plant. So it goes there, they have it segregated, and then they have to autoclave it, and then they make it devoid of all the contamination, and then they sell it off. It is sold at a very throwaway price. Only thing is that the buyer has to segregate between the blue gloves and the white gloves. That itself is a problem. And then, I don't know what is being done with that, whether it's going to the landfill or it's going to think it is an environmental hazard as of now, because there's no particular plan for that. Somehow they want to, dispose of the waste. So how they do it is still a concern. So we have been working on this for the nitrile, like nitrile, kind of thing. I understand that one company in Thailand is actually doing it. So I think, they will have a good opportunity. So one of the people ask me, so I also, recommended that. Like, we tried that. We used to, grind it into a powder. We used to make a cryogenic grinding of this thing, and then we used to add in the mats and everything. But, the volume of that actually we use is all very small. Only if you could make it in sheets, probably like that, it's good. So I think, we have ample opportunities for, recycling plant here, because nobody has actually gone into it. With the actual usage of nitrile gloves going up, there's a lot of rejections, being made. And plant rejections also, the nitrile plant it's too high, so they have a lot of rejections for nitrile plant. So even the uncontaminated ones also are there, gloves are there. So that's a good opportunity. If anyone wants to set it up, probably that's good.
There is one guy is asking the question on here. Do India have a big market for clean room gloves for food handling? Is the
Okay.
gloves for clean room growing as Bangalore and Hyderabad known for IT industry?
Okay. Clean room gloves, we look at it, there are two areas. Like one is electronics, in the other areas where we need anti-static and then without ions and all those things. Okay, that is a market which I feel that is a market that is actually unexplored, that can be explored in a big way. All these nitrile manufacturers, what I feel is that they would have actually thought of this as a market, because they have got a glove with them. If I actually gone to that, instead of actually putting all the heads into the medical market, they would have gone to that. And there are not many controls also. You need to have the PP certification probably for that. So that and be done. And the second market for clean room is the pharmaceutical sector. So in the pharmaceutical sector, it is a big market, not a big market, but a market where there's some margin for you. I mean, that's one thing. But there are now a lot of players in the market. There are a lot of players in the market, local players as well as imported ones. Then the food industry is concerned, I think there's a lot of market, unexplored market, because right from your fish, because fish in the meat market, fish in our area, like in Kerala, there's a lot of fish processing areas, fish processing companies, export-oriented companies, prawn shelling and all that. They use a lot of nitrile gloves there. Okay, so and meat processing and other thing, they're all these companies are becoming, like very sophisticated. They're putting up sophisticated equipment. The people that they're employing are skilled people, and all those people need gloves for that. So this is also market. It's a very good market, and the population. Since we have the population, there's a huge market there.
Exactly,
That's one.
exactly.
So therefore, you have to create a market. You have to get in the market, work for some time, get the figure, and make them the user club.
Yeah, there is a trends nowadays. Many companies, big companies, are talking the biodegradable glaves, right?
Okay. Okay.
What's the trend in India in terms of manufacturing biodegradable clothes?
Yeah. India, I don't think we have actually caught up in that. We are still in the the thing. We are sharing a lot of biodegradable for and against. The biodegradable itself, if it's biodegradable, it has to be compostable. If it's
Yeah,
compostable, that if it's just biodegradable, it degrades. It degrades into small particles. Means you have more of microplastics and micro rubber in the thing. So
yes,
it has to be compostable. So actually, when you say biodegradable, what do you actually mean by biodegradable? That's the one thing. People are not sure about it. It's a good term for even to say that you're sustainable, but the actual test and actual validation of that has to be done. Fortunately, we have not reached that till now, and we are still struggling with the local with the normal lateral manufacturing. But it will catch up if you can give a good nitrile, which is actually compostable with good properties. I think there's a market. But the only concern is that generally, as I said earlier, it's a price sensitive market. So anything that increases the prices, they'll say no. Um, from a personal example, I can say that we were trying to market antibacterial. I mean,
yeah,
multicolor antimicrobial. So even when we went to the pharma sector, we validated them, we gave them everything. But then even then they said that if it's going to cost higher, then what is the actual advantage? I mean, you say that it won't grow this thing at all. After it's a sterilized glove, then what else is it? It's a disposable glove. And where do you want to use it? Only thing is that if you can actually kill bacteria by touching the surfaces, then that's fine. Which is not the way it works. You can't just be a cleaning kind of thing. So to get these things into the mind of the people is one thing, and then to get money out of that for this, it's another thing. So therefore, when you come up with a new technology, now it will be difficult. Okay, we expected even after COVID, people will be serious about it. They were serious while COVID is on, but afterwards now they say everything's gone. What's the problem? I mean, so what's the use? So that is how it is. So anything that adds, increases your price, it's expensive. People think, it's not like the Western developed markets. We are still in that, that mindset of the pricing. Yeah.
now, how about let's get into a little bit on the operational excellence in glove manufacturing. Of course, we always look up to the Malaysia as one of the best, in terms of
Yeah.
producing the best quality gloves at a cost-effective way.
Yeah.
How you see the experience of Indian glove manufacturers in terms of operational excellence? They still have room to improve themselves in terms of the operational management of the manufacturing of the gloves. What can be done to improve their overall operations?
Operational efficiency, I think it comes from various factors. One thing is your manpower, because I do believe that the manpower is the one that is actually runs the show. It's the biggest asset. So once we have someone, the production people, the people who are on the line, who can get the feedback from them and act accordingly, you can have that operational efficiency. The most of the thing what I've seen is that your delayed response. It's not that you don't know. Your delayed response is a basic cost. That response has to be moved. Because what we see with the newer generation, latest generation is that they don't spend time on the line. Like seeing the problem, seeing this thing. They just Google and try to get something out of that and then go and try it out. It doesn't work. So these things isn't there. And these things are something that we see right now. Because Earlier, we know that we used to, even I, when I go to the line and stand there, I get something new every day. It's a learning thing. And in a like glove manufacturing, as in all manufacturing, especially the glove manufacturing, it's so different. All lines are different. It's not that you did that in one line that can be replicated here. Because most of the questions they ask that what is the best surfactant to use? There's no answer for that. The surfactant that you use is particular for your particular line. It might not work in the other one. So if you have that feeling, if you know that this is what it is, then you can have your efficiency. Ultimately, what happens is that when you get a glove out, if you're aiming at 99%, it should be 99%. 1% rejection is okay. If you don't get it, you're inefficient. It's as simple as that. So if you make it efficient, you have your systems, improve your systems, you have your discussions, you have your weekly meetings on that, and then take it a little serious. The disadvantage that we have is that we don't have many glove manufacturers and many people, and we still run with the low. I mean, the available technology right now, we are not in the stuff yet. So the advantage with Malaysian other companies is that they are always in the front of technology. So they have people, they have mentors who can actually tell them that this is what it is, because they have seen that. We don't have that. So that is one thing that we don't have that. And then generally it's not a trend in our industry to send people to other companies, educate them and come back. And we don't have a training system like this. Okay, practical training kind of thing. So what we are planning with Rubberboard to have something like surgical glove manufacturing technicians kind of thing, or something like where they go into the plant, see them, and because everything has to be practical. You have to know exactly. You don't get anything out of the books. You can just get something out of it, but the actual practical experience counts a lot. So basic thing is we don't have mentors. That's the thing. We don't have people who are like experienced in different companies. So we have the same people. We have got 10, 15, 20 years of experience of the same plant, doing the same thing inside and out, and thinking that that's the best thing to do. So that is one concept that we have. Otherwise, I think reasonably we are doing that. In the company that we are working, we are doing a lot of research, a lot of work. We discuss, we fight, we do everything, but then ultimately it comes out that way. So,
How is the labor issues? Is it labor cost is significant in India now?
yeah,
Now, see, I think in Malaysia is all the reason that they moved to the totally automation way of producing it. Is automation the need of hour in India right now, or still a lot depend on the semi-automation or the labor-intensive operations?
yeah. Okay. Okay, manpower, of course, everywhere manpower is going to be an issue. It is an issue, especially in our part of the country. It's always an issue because of other factors. So everyone is actually thinking of going for automation. But the automation, it could be done for inspection, of course. You can try it out. We tried it out. It was not very successful. That's one thing. The packaging, of course, most of them are going for automation. Okay, that can be. But for if you look at automation, the stripping area like that, nobody actually uses an auto stripper right now because it's not possible for our lines, because we have got all the sizes running in one line because we have only one or two lines. It's not like in Malaysia we have medium size or 7 size or 7.5 size running in one particular line. You don't have to do any changes, automatic strip. But then we have, after 100 more size changes come, we have a differences. So it cannot adjust. We have everybody tried it out. We have actually bought this auto strippers and tried to install it. It doesn't work. So there's a limit to that. So everything that you say that now, that economics of scale, of course, is there. Now when you have to scale up to go into that set of thing. So packaging, everybody have actually gone into automation. A lot of automation happens only there. Inspection also, some areas they have done there, but inspection, what we have seen from our practice, I don't know whether it's because of the problem with the machine or so, we had to re-inspect it again by your workers to actually get the real output. So we are just shelf it for the time being. So, but manpower is an issue, and the minimum wages, everything is going up. So all the inputs are slowly going up. So we have to have operational efficiency to actually bring it down. Okay. Yeah.
Let's talk about an I know I can still continue the discussion, man. Very interesting to learn all these things. But I know I'd like to wrap it up soon. Before
Okay.
we go, let's talk about a little bit of what kind of regulations that you think they're going to affect the globe industry in India.
Regulation.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I think we have the regulations in place right now. I don't think there's not going to be not going to be any major changes after this because making it a medical device itself was a major disruptor in fact. Now the only thing what the association is actually asking for is to make a mandatory ISMR for this so that everything that is on the market is ISMR. Even otherwise, most of the companies have already got the ISMR, so it's not going to be a disruptor for them. Other than that, I don't think there's going to be any regulatory challenges as such. But if if the regulatory agencies um, happen to check the quality of gloves at the user point, then I think we have to pull up our socks. We have to have a better quality. We have to be more stringent on the quality. I mean, of course, now it is there, but the slips and tips in this have to be correct.
And how about the ESG and UEDR, these regulations?
Okay, I have not found any glove company actually reporting the ESG or sustainability report or anything like that, like we have in Top Glass or Hansel or anybody. We don't have any sustainability report or any ESG target, sustainability target and all that. We have not that we have not reached that stage in fact. So
Okay.
that could be coming, but we are. I mean, our company has actually gone into like meta audits and all those things. Like we are into that. Meta audits. We are slowly moving towards that. Because we have been associated with answer, so we're moving into that. But that is a trend that that we have to go in for that because ultimately the world will be asking for that more probably. Every importer will be asking what kind of certifications we have you done a SMETA audit, have you done a social audit, I mean all those things will be there. So especially with the problem now with the Malaysian companies, I think your labor facing it that is going to be a big problem. So yeah, that's why we went in for the SMETA audits and all that. So everything has to be clear. We keep everything very transparent. So I think that is something that will should certainly come up, but not in the recent. I mean, not for the next couple of years, I think.
It takes some time. Yeah, it takes some
Yeah,
time.
it will take some time. Yes.
So, let's come to our, end of this session today. You offer the consulting services for the glove industry, right? Yeah.
Glove industry, I'm in fact not directly consulting to any glove industry right now because I'm out of it. I'm into basically helping them out with sustainability products, like
Okay.
like adding certain sustainable products. Like for example, there's one thing called I'm also working on a plastic formers. Uh, like because in most of sustainability reports, what we find is that the disposing of ceramic formers after the end of use uh, is a real problem has become. And then ceramic has to be mined and then it has to be disposed of. Disposing itself is a problem. So it's a special clause in most of the reports. I find that they have actually identified this as a sustainability problem and then try to address that. Probably if you have a good plastic formers, probably you can reuse it and making it not as environmentally effective as that and making it itself it's just injection molded. You don't have to have all those dust flying and all those things. So probably that is one area that I'm working on with two different companies, one Japanese company and one Saudi Arabian company on this. So probably that's one thing. But then, of course, the manufacturers also will have to put in the effort in that. That's one thing. The other one is that they're trying to use lignin, that's the plant derivative, into rubber products, especially natural rubber products, so that you can improve the properties. What properties improve, we have to do at we are actually going for an incubation with a rubber board. And if something comes up, probably that'll be good because we can compete with the synthetics for their properties, chemical resistance or whatever. So all these things, and then a little bit in graphene,
Mm.
for using, giving conductivity and thermal properties and all that. Only thing is that everything has to be black. I mean, it'll be either gray or black. That's the only difference. Even for lignin, that's the one thing. It's either brown or yellow kind of thing. But then, color doesn't matter. And then, making a radioactive, with radiation protection glove, like think of different alternatives for the current one. If you have moved on from the lead one, you move to the bismuth one, but still there is opportunity for going for that. And a little bit of work in biology also, we're just trying it out.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah. So with Dr. Katrina Cornish, so I've had a discussion with her on that. But it's all in the initial stages. Probably we can do something on that because radiation protection glove in that would be an added advantage. That's what she says. So probably we can try that there. So there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of things because there are a lot of materials to be discovered. We discover that, this, and then we get a new product. So it's just an exploratory thing. This is what I do. And anybody who asks me about glove manufacture, of course, I'm ready to help. I mean, absolutely no problem there. But then, it's not my core business now. More in exploration, sustainability, and other things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still have touch two more points before actually go, man.
Okay.
You know, what kind of advice you'd like to give it to the glove manufacturers to stay profitable in business? Okay.
Okay.
So so that at least they change their mindset or some of the based on your experience. Yeah. Can you give some advice for them?
Yeah, yeah. I think if you look at it in the global industry, I think there are three different stakeholders. Like one is the entrepreneur, the industrialist, the one who has actually put up the plant, and the second one is actually who's running the plant, the production man, that thing, QA and everything. And third set of people who are the future, in fact, the R&D guys, the people who are actually doing it. I think for the entrepreneurs, I think right now is a bad time. As you know, it's a bad time, but everything, I think it will pass. As I said earlier, like it's a time for us to introspect on our actions and to keep our manpower, keep our people together, and then think about the future, 2025, what we're going to do. And then there's always a different market because this is not as I said, it's time to think that we are in the hand protection field rather than the medical gloves. We are in hand protection field, so move on to different markets. With your existing manufacturing capability, you can move on to different markets, explore that market. Go for exhibitions, go for fairs. Don't just mark your medical exhibitions. Go for the other exhibitions. You have got a plan. You get a lot of ideas from there. You start, think you're very positive rather than fighting amongst each other, seeing who is going to there and trying to cut down its price and then do that. That's one thing, but the future should be that. And for the people on the line, as I said, they have to be on the line, and because they are the support for the manufacturer, for the industry, the entrepreneur. You have to give them a glove as per the specification, right time, every time. So that's how it is there. You have to be on the line. You have to spend a lot of time on the line, be there, and you have to act accordingly. And the most important thing, I think, it's about R&D. You have to have different lines because I have been running an R&D plant. R&D unit there. We develop a lot of products, a lot of small products. Some were a little commercial, some were not commercial, some were we could sell during the COVID, some we couldn't. But at that time, I found that there's a lot of product that could be made. So I think R&D people should cover the market. There's a lot of things that can be made with rubber, with either with synthetic or latex. It doesn't matter. But as long as we have got a good product, we know how to make it. Then I think that is the future. There's a lot of products because right now I heard there's a product when the polyurethane glove has come out in the US market, which is telling me is much cheaper than nitrile. And the properties, what I've seen, I don't know whether it's true. From what I've seen is that it's got huge, very good properties. Like the temple itself is 40 LPA. That's what they claim, and it's patented by an American company, and it's running in China and being imported into the US, and they're using it. So probably I don't know. There could be disruptions. So you have to be ready with that. You have to keep your ears and eyes open for any disruption in the market. Because if such a glove comes in and if it's very costly and cheaper, then the whole nitrile and latex will go out of the market. And because it is made without any accelerator, it's a water-based thing. It is everything very. I'm not very sure. I've not evaluated the glove. I just talked to her. That's it. So if this thing comes, you have to know that something is happening somewhere. So you have to be prepared for that. So this is what we have to do. So I think all this we have to do. They have to work in synergy, but all these three have got their own intentions and goals. And if they do their, I mean, if they work that way, I think the industry can actually succeed. That's what I feel.
Yes, well said, well said. You touched about R&D side.
Okay.
Can you talk about what else research that latex, natural latex, they should do more to make it compete with the synthetic latex? Is there still the scope to do more research on the latex?
Um, from what I've seen, from the history, what I've seen is that in the early 90s or early 2000s, when we started off, we started trying the nitriles. Okay, at that time, a nitrile glove, you would never touch a nitrile glove. But then, 20, 25 years now, you've got very good nitrile gloves. It's because they're putting a lot of money in there. They're pumped in a lot of money, a lot of research is being done. We never expected this to happen this way. But if you look at the natural rubber thing, nothing has really changed. We have, all the papers going DPNR, protein-free latex, all these things are there, but nothing has been commercialized. We are still going with the same all 60% centrifuge select latex, same thing. Nothing has been done. So it is. I think it's because we haven't put up any effort in this. We are happy having a synthetic thing. We have to see what extra thing synthetic offers. Then we have to see what can be done in our nitrile glove. I mean, in latex glove to conduct that. You can add. So that's what I'm just trying to do. If you use a little bit of lignin there, probably will it increase the chemical resistance. Probably you can have more as into nitrite. So because this is something that is being promoted that now it is puncture resistant and chemical resistant than natural rubber glove. I don't know what that really means, but that's how it's being advertised. So we need to take it as a challenge and do it. But there's nobody who is actually taking the challenge. Nobody actually taking it. When RRIM does it, I think in a good way. But I think we need to have lot many opportunities because there are a lot many products made of natural rubber. Like you have got bladders for puppy curing. You got for animal welfare. There's a lot of things. I mean, a lot of products are there. Toys. There are a lot of products are there. But the thing is that there should be some concerted effort, which I think an industry cannot do on itself. Probably you need to have an agency, a governmental agency, or some agency which is funded, which is through into this. If the advantage is that if we have if you make a lot of products, then also the farmers will be. So economically, I think it's going to be a good thing if you have a lot of natural products. And that's what I think.
George, really thank to you, man. Big thanks to you for being part of this latex in this tech talk. I was thinking maybe we'd have 30 minutes conversation, but now it's not 90 minutes. We can still go on with other issues as well. I really appreciate the time, man. I really appreciate it. It's a really wonderful conversation. I think it's very useful, and I think a lot of audience also learned a lot of things about what's happening in India, particularly in the latex glove industry. I appreciate the time. Before I let you go, would you like to give a final remarks to the audience, please?
Remarks. Yeah,
final message to the audience. Yeah.
Final message. I think I've given a general message to them. All of them. Personally, what I would say that you can contact me for anything. I'm always free for anything. You can just contact me because I really believe in networking. So I would like to share my knowledge, whatever I have, as well as I'd like to learn a lot from it because what I've learned. I don't think there's no end to learning. You learn every day. Every day. That's what I feel. So you learn, and that too from everyone, not just from the skill or the unskill, whatever. You learn everything because that's been my mother. I've been learning a lot. it'll be very, I'll be very happy to be in touch with all of you. How many have actually been the thing, like for this, how many have actually registered
Um,
for the?
so there are quite number of audience are there, but there will be people are also joined later on the recorded
Okay,
session as
okay,
well. Yeah,
okay.
so
So
but
all
it's
the anybody can contact me. I'm on LinkedIn and on other because I mean just on LinkedIn, nothing in them. I don't have any Facebook or anything. Just on LinkedIn. You can always contact me on LinkedIn. That's my
yeah,
name. So I'll be happy to connect.
yeah.
That's fine.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time today. Thank you very much. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you. Okay.
it's a really wonderful session. I look forward to connecting with you again in the future episodes of the Latex Industry Tech Talk. Yeah,
Mhm.
we
Probably,
got
probably,
more.
yeah, probably we can have something on sustainability after I come
Sure.
down after the.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
probably.
yeah. I think you should share that your Japanese experience on the circular economy. Yeah,
Sure.
so maybe as a presentation or as a conversation. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, guys, that's a session with Jose Paul Millet, is the managing director and Ferrociter Technologies based in India. Well, of course, that is his consulting company now, but he has 30 plus years of solid experience in the growth, and we touched many things about markets, challenges, opportunities. I'm hoping that this session is useful to you all. I welcome you to the next episode in the future. Thank you all for joining the session today. Bye bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.